In Revelation 21, John sees a vision where a giant city called the New Jerusalem comes from the sky, and he sees an angel measure it and measure its length. Now, what Revelation describes is that this city comes out from the sky and is the bride for Jesus Christ. Now, there's a lot of different interpretations of Revelation. And one thing that I want to impress upon you is this idea of the people to whom Revelation was given, the early church. Everything in it meant something to them. And in what it meant to them was something that might be a little bit different than what it has been kind of sold to us today. And that early church, hearing this message, that the New Jerusalem comes out of the sky, adorned beautifully as the bride of Christ. In the early church, they would have heard it and seen it as what it is, that within this New Jerusalem is the saints of the Most High. And just like right now, if your faith is in Jesus Christ, if you are in that new covenant and you are His and He is yours, then you are the bride of Christ right now. In that paradigm, John describes the city coming out as the bride of Christ, coming down from the heavens. And it's such a beautiful thing because Jesus isn't marrying the city, but within this city are those who are the saints. It's you and me. And to that early church, it was the assurance and the positive relevance of the idea that at that time, they are the bride of Christ. And if you and I are the bride of Christ, and we are redeemed, and we are in the new covenant, and we are accepted, then nothing the enemy tries, and nothing the enemy puts upon us can even affect our minds or hearts at all. But there's something interesting about the New Jerusalem that we may have missed. But me and you, right now, haven't missed it at all. And here's why. When John sees the angel coming out and seeing this New Jerusalem come down from the sky, the angel measures it. And in his measurement is 12,000 stades or stadia, which is an ancient way of measurement, which equals about 1,400 miles. Now, why would that matter to us? What's 1,400 miles? It's probably, a certain distance. But here's the interesting thing. That 1,400 miles is exactly and precisely, if each side of it was drawn, would be the sides of a square that fits inside of this beautiful moon. Now, every time when you look at the moon, if you draw a square inside of it, the square that you draw would be 1,400 miles, or technically 1,390, within that moon. And that's the size of this New Jerusalem that John sees the angel measure. Now, I don't know if John and the ancient astronomers knew the size of the moon, and I'm not trying to say something like the New Jerusalem is in the moon or anything like that. But just know this, every time you read Revelation 21, every time you consider that you are the bride of Christ, that He has given all for you, and you have given all for Him, and that you are one, and you are one flesh and one spirit with Him, that as this bride adorned for her husband, who is Christ, that every time you look at the moon, the dimensions of 12,000 stadia and this 1,400 miles is demonstrated every time you look at the night sky. And today, on this summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the strawberry moon, the luna de las frescas, that on this day and every other day, that you look up at the night sky, know this: you are his bride. You are his chosen. You are connected and united to him. Everything that Christ has is yours. Everything. And that in eternity to come and in the present, that when it comes to the status of who you are and what you are, know that without a doubt, as trustworthy as the moon is as it rises and falls, and the sun doing the same, that he has you, that you're united, that no one can separate you, that nothing can come in between, and that the solidity and the dependence that we have, knowing that we look upon the night sky when darkness is all around, but knowing that the light comes that reflects the sun, that you aren't that far off. Because that Son who gave you life and who gave you his Spirit indeed reflects through you to all those around. And no matter how dark the night, no matter how dim the prospects, that just as the moon can't keep from reflecting the sun, that you do the same. And in those times of fear, and in those times of hurt, and in those times of trouble, if that very New Jerusalem city, which falls out of the sky with the dimensions of the moon, can't help but be the bride of Christ as the righteous ones within, then you too, reflecting the life and light and love of the Son, can't help but bring the very same life to those around you. You will never see the New Jerusalem, the night sky, or that beautiful moon the same way again. I love you, and the Lord loves you.